Welcome to the Powers Now Real Estate Roundtable. My name is Eric Frazier. I'm here with Emerick A, owner of Keller Williams Preferred Properties in Prince George County, Maryland. And he has 600 agents getting ready to go to 700 in 2023. We're talking about business planning in 2023 for real estate agents. And I don't know about you, but I'm learning a lot from Emerick, and it's just been an inspiring conversation. If you like what you're hearing, please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also reach out to Emerick A. He has an open door, willing to help anybody. In fact, he might even hire you if you're in Prince George County, Maryland. He's building an incredible team out there. Emerick, again, thank you for your time and for your insight on this. Having recruited so many agents and doing the volume of business you do, I know you know firsthand from experience what we're talking about in terms of business planning in 2023. So
Right.
we ended the last segment on, the avatar. And so once we created that our ideal client, right? We know who we want to do business with. We know who we want to be emotionally connected with. We know who is going to have the highest possibility of liking us and trusting us to help them achieve their goal, whether it be buying or selling real estate. Now, how do I make myself more attractive? How do I become attractive? What is the image that I want to portray to attract clients, the kind of clients that I want to work with? And that's what we are focused on now in part 2, in getting clear on your services, because getting clear on your services is a combination of both portraying the image that you want to trade that's attractive to your client, and 2, being really clear on what your abilities are, the kinds of services, the types of properties that you can sell.
And that big thing, Eric, is becoming attractive to that group of people. In that conversation of becoming attracted to that group of people, when you know and understand the avatar and you understand what their behavior styles are, you understand what their likes and dislikes are, then you kind of sort of put yourself in a place where you can exude those types of behavior, activities, and just flat out likability, right? Because again, attraction is an emotion. So what makes them want to emotionally come into your space? First, and I'm big on this, so that like your appearance. What do you look like when you show up in that space? That's the first thing. Your dialogue. What does that dialogue look like when you show up in that space? Right? When you have those two things first, you make the rest of the attractions so much easier, because number one, we are visual creatures. So you're visually, aesthetically pleasing to the person. If you have never met them and you're only talking to them on the phone, when you're talking to them, auditorily, they understand that you are a person who they would like to speak more with. Again, you have to be in that space. Now, what if you're not speaking to them? If they don't see you and you're not speaking to them verbally, then you're probably sending them a message, right? Whether it be Facebook, Instagram, maybe U.S. Postal Service.
Right.
Is the medium that you're communicating with them, is it visually, aesthetically pleasing to the eye? And is it appealing to them? Again, we're just talking about these are physical things that attract people. The other part of that is that if we get outside of the physical and we get outside of the auditory, the question becomes, do you have enough testimonials to attract that type of person? Can they go someplace and have third-party validation on what you say you are? Those are 3 big items that when you're talking about attracting people and appealing, those are large items, because a lot of times people go, when someone gets your name, they automatically look you up on the internet before they even talk to you. So if you're a social media user, does your social media profile on the mediums, is that appealing, right? Do you have third-party testimonials where people are saying good things about you before people even call you? Sometimes people don't even call you because they go to social media or they go to some other type of medium and they don't see anything that's attractive that would make them want to call you. And so you have your physical, you have your auditory, and then you have your digital messaging.
Emerick, and I am so glad you are breaking it down like that for us, because it's so important. We live in an online world, but at some point there'll be some physical connection. And so that is definitely something that we should all be working on, right?
Yo, Eric, you see me waving like an antenna, right? Beep, beep, beep. The radar went off. Here's the deal. We have been so like loosely connected digitally over the past 5 or 6 years. People like, oh, I just send a Facebook message out and people respond to my Facebook and then they become my client. Oh, I just send them an email and they become my client. Well, in that, we had this conversation earlier about the skill-based market. Your ability to have an extremely intelligent conversation is more critical now because people are digitally fatigued. They're starting to get sick of Facebook. They're starting to get sick of digital communication, and they just want to have some positive human interaction with an intelligent being. And phone calls are becoming more and more important as
Zoom
this
meeting.
time moves on. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because again, people want to have the people wanting to have more of an interactive dialogue with a human. You can't call that, wrap your brain around this. Think about it. When you call for customer service, you have to go through 10 automated menus to even get to where you want to go. Press 3 for Joe, press 5 for Sarah, press 5 for the customer service, press 6 for payments, press 7. By the time you get finished with all the things that they list, you like, I don't even want to talk to you. Look, give me a person.
Right.
And that's the place that we're going right now. And that's a skill-based area to be able to have an intelligent conversation, to be able to convert people, to lead them to believe that you are the person that they should do business with. And it's becoming more and more of that arena.
So, Emerick, let me unpack this a little bit more, because everything you're saying is so important. And I'm going to take it from the top. Being attractive, we focus on our appearance, at least we should before we leave the house, right? And so being well groomed, because the all the senses are at work when you meet somebody, how you look, if you're well groomed, how you're dressing and how you're speaking and even how you smell, right? You might want to in some decent cologne, right? And so always being on point when you are in the public, whether you be online on Zoom, or whether you're being, or you're going to the store, even the grocery store, you may meet somebody, you always need to be on point. You need to have it together, because you're right, man. We are very, physical. We are creatures. We are attracted to what we see, especially men and women. We just are. That's just nature. Nothing you can do about it, right or wrong. The more handsome, the more beautiful, the more, the sound of your voice, how you articulate, what you talk about. These things develop a sense of comfort and trust and likability. And they say, you know what? Wow, I really like Emerick. I want to, Emerick, can I call you later? Can we connect? I'm thinking about selling my house. I'm thinking about doing this or that, right? Or you just learn from them and you develop a relationship. And then to take that further, fatigue, digital fatigue, I think it is real. In fact, I mean, people hate getting phone calls, and they certainly don't want to be harassed with emails and phone calls. And so what do? You really focus in on something that is less intrusive, and that is social media. Just having it together online, so when they come on their own terms at their own time to visit you, to talk with you, to see what you're all about, there's something very attractive there as well. And I can't, I've been at this for 41 years. I've been an agent for 30, a broker for 20.
Right.
Emerick, I know more real estate agents than I can even begin to count. And it
Okay.
is rare that I come to a real estate agent's website. Let's just start with the website. And I
Mm-hmm.
find anything welcoming me to the website. I mean, it is the 21st century storefront today. And
Mm-hmm.
where is the welcome? Where is the welcome? Where is the, welcome me to their company, to their website? They don't read that. There's no video of them speaking directly to me, welcoming me to to this platform. And then when I go to the social media platforms, I see pictures, I see houses, I see great quotes from
Mm-hmm.
great people like Martin Luther King, and I see, events, shaking hands and that kind of stuff. But I really don't read or see or listen to anything, podcast, video, or article of them educating me so I get a sense of, are they really smart, or do they really know what's going on in their market? Do they really sell real estate? Can they tell me what's going on? Do they have an opinion about the Fed? Do they have an opinion about the future of real estate? I mean, give me something that would make me think, wow, this person is a resource. Wow, this person is smart. Wow, this person really knows what they're doing. But instead, what I see are just pictures and flyers and events and things of that nature. Nothing that takes me from, okay, they may be attractive because a lot of real estate agents will have a lot of, I mean, they've made their websites and their social media and their Pinterest platforms, they made them a fashion platforms. I mean, I don't know if they're selling clothes or they're selling real estate, because everything is about, what they're doing in their fashion. And I also recognize that that does attract people, how beautiful you are, how great you look, but that's just the beginning of a relationship that you're desiring of doing business with them.
Well, a lot of times, well, a lot of the faces, the sites they placate to our egos. They're stroking our egos as individuals. And the real question, and we like the way they look, the question is that website attracting customers and clients? That's the real question. And that's the purpose. The purpose of that site is to attract customers and clients. And if you're not attracting customers and clients with that site, why? Why? Again, stroking your ego. And it's not about you stroking your ego. It's about making your customers and clients, customers and potential clients feel welcome and invited into your space. And so we really have to be careful about who we accept as our advisors in this industry to have an outward display of us. Good advice doesn't cost you, it pays you. And so when you have the right advisor in that digital space, it'll pay you. When you don't, it'll cost you, because you're costing to have that site hosted, and you're not holding your dollars accountable for a 1x, 2x, 3x return, whatever your return should be. However, you're stroking your ego because the site is about you, or your social media pages are about you. And some of it should be business, it should be personal, it should be family. And because you're inviting people into your space. If it's
Yeah.
all business, you could have issues. If it's all personal, you could have issues. And so who's the whole person that people are working with in that environment? Does that make
Which
sense?
brings us, yeah, it does make sense. In fact, that brings us to, again, attracting your client. How do I make myself more attractive to the kinds of clients that I want to work with? Well, it starts first with your story, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, uh, why are you in real estate in the first place?
Right.
How did you even come to be a real estate broker or an agent? Why are you in this city? What is your history here? Where did you go to school? What makes you so passionate about selling real estate? Helping people. What organizations and communities are you involved in in a meaningful way? What are you doing to have an impact on the community? So I believe that utilizing social media and your website to tell your story, your origin story, is one
Mhm.
way of, while you're sleeping, you are giving people a reason to want to do business with you. Because some people want to do business with someone who is local. Some people might want to do business with you because you're from the same state they are. You're a transplant
Cut.
from Chicago or Tennessee. I'm from Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee. It could be a bunch of Tennesseans out there, maybe not even in Memphis, in Nashville, that want to
Right.
do business with me just because I'm from Tennessee. And so your origin story is really important, and making sure that that's available on all your social media platforms, on your website. It could be a video, it could be an article, it should be readily available, pinned to the website, under the media page, someplace where it is something they see. It could be a pop-up even, part of your welcome. Welcome to the Keller Williams Preferred Properties. My name is Emerick P.
Mhm.
This is what we're all about. This is who I am. And we're so glad that you're with us today. Check out everything that's going on here. If we can meet your needs in any way, let us know. And then there could be additional links that go more into detail about your story, your origin story, your background, where you come from, your service. People might do business with you, man, because you are a master sergeant, 20 something years in the military. And so it's rare, though, that I see this on any website. It's rare that I see this on any social media page.
And the challenge with that is we for some reason we have gotten detached. uh well, we on the service provider end, we've gotten detached from telling our story. Our story creates an emotional sticky with our clients.
Yes,
And so, like I said, when I said in a rising tide, all boats float, when business is high because it's high, you don't have to do the basic fundamentals. Not until the business begins to dip do we go back to the fundamentals of the things that are required in order to acquire more clients. And the things that you're talking about, i.e. a bio, a resume, things of that nature, it's the ability to have people to personally connect with you and have a story that resonates with them about you, which forces you to be more attractive even before they actually meet you.
that's right.
And that's the
That's right.
magic. The magic happens. If you can make the magic happen before they actually meet you, then your client capture rate will be significantly higher because they've already
Absolutely.
bought into you emotionally.
That's right. That's right. One of the things we do here at the Powers Now is a Power Agent Spotlight. And I love doing those interviews. They're biographical interviews. And in fact, I did one with an agent just a couple of days ago, and I learned so much about that agent, their
Mhm.
story, how they got into the business. And it was actually fascinating stuff. And I
Right?
could just imagine that if they sent that to any of their prospective clients and someone that maybe that was referred to them, they just sent them the link to, because the show's on TV, say, hey, I
Right.
was just interviewed on the Powers Now. And I would like to share that with you, give you an opportunity to get to know me a little better before we meet. The client gets it, they click on it, it pops up on their Apple TV or what have you, and they listen to this interview of them telling their story. Um,
Right.
how impressed would you be if someone did that to you, Emerick?
I'd be really super impressed. And one of the big things you touched on this a little earlier, the whole idea of video. Uh, and that's one of the things that we're working on here is to start sending our customers and clients videos so that there's some type of additional connection to help them understand who we are and what we represent. And so in that space, we really have to start, again, approaching new concepts from a medium perspective to get our message out.
when you look at what's going on online, YouTube, Facebook, I
Mhm.
mean, there's billions of hours of videos being watched every day. People are going to your social media sites, they're going to your websites, they're Googling you. And so why not really go deep and start creating the content around who you are, your story, your values, the organizations you support, why you sell, what you love about real estate, why you love
Mhm.
helping people, and just give them all those really important talking points to connect with you. And then, like what you're doing, not just sending an email update or a phone, leaving a voicemail on the phone, but sending video updates on where they are in the transaction or keeping them updated. I mean, it's like the next best thing of getting in your
Mhm.
car,
Right.
driving to their house,
Yes.
knocking on their doors. Hey,
Yeah.
John, you got a minute? Sure, come on, Emerick. I just wanted to update you on the transaction. Everything is going well. We did have something come up though on the termite report. Let me go over that with you. I mean,
Right.
that's it's almost the same. In fact, I mean, you can have the client might invite you to sit down for a cup of coffee. Well, if you did it on Zoom, you would have your coffee, they would have their you having a cup of coffee talking about the transaction, and you're deepening the relationship
Yeah.
uh, through that kind of face-to-face communication.
And again, you lend yourself to be more attractive. At the end of the day, it's about you being more attractive to be able to procure that client's business um, for future service.
Now, you've developed the relationship, you know what you got to do. You got to get yourself together online. You
Right?
got to get
Okay.
yourself together personally, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so all those things are in point, but now we got to make sure you can sell what you're trying to sell, right? And so identifying your niche, you said this earlier. If you're trying to
Mhm.
sell everything to everyone, you'll end up selling nothing at all
To
because you're
everyone. You'll wind up selling nothing to everyone.
nothing to everyone. So you know, the
Right.
old saying, a jack of all trade, but a master of none. And
Correct.
so,
Yes.
uh, let me ask you, Emerick, how did
Okay.
you decide when you first started what you were going to be focusing on? Because, I mean, coming out of the military into real estate, you didn't know about all different types of properties and all different strategies of selling or representing and negotiating on properties, right? That had to come over time. So, how did you get started?
Well, what actually started was that I actually was in the military and selling at the same time and selling real estate. What spurred my thought process was that I purchased my first house and I was teaching other people how to purchase homes, and they were coming back to me for advice that I believe that they should have been getting from their real estate agent. And so at that point, if I was helping them buy the house and I was giving them advice, I may as well get my license and make some money. Because what I understood was based on my experience with real estate agents and based on their experience with real estate agents were not the best professionals on the street. And what I said was that if they can make a living giving those type of services, if I give phenomenal services, I should be able to make a pretty strong living because of my knowledge level and what I'm willing to commit to the people who call themselves my clients. And so that's the way it worked out for me. That's the way I looked at it. And I've always wanted to be the most knowledgeable agent on the street because as a professional, which we are professionals, a true professional know what they know what they don't know, and they know the difference between the two.
Wow. So let me just unpack that because there's some great lessons here
Right.
for someone who is new to real estate and someone who's or maybe perhaps they've been in it for a while. The
Okay.
first thing you need to do is you need to buy a house, right? That should be part of your business plan. And we spoke about this earlier, but
Day
you got to
one.
represent. You need to
Day
buy
one.
a house. It's so important because you're
You know,
trying to advise
let,
someone, right,
let's
on
stop.
buying a house.
Let's park there for a second, Eric. Let's park there for a second. Think about that. You're advising someone to do something that you're not willing to do yourself. Now, I'm not saying that that can't work for you on some level. However, if you're looking to do this at a higher level, right, with a lot of people, somebody's going to smell the BS somewhere. Somebody's not going to be buying what you're selling because you're inconsistent. Your audio and your video don't match. Your audio saying is buy a house. Your video is saying don't buy a house because I haven't bought a house. Again, we marginalize the thought or the idea of how important it is to us for us to mentally buy in to our ideals, thoughts, and businesses. And if you haven't bought a house yourself, you probably have not bought into the whole concept of home ownership. Not probably,
Right.
More than likely, you have not bought into the whole concept of home ownership. And if you're in a state somewhere that whatever financial state you're in is temporary, you should be working to get out of that temporary financial state so that you can make your audio and your video match. Because people can tell when they don't match. You don't know it, they know it.
Right.
This is not fake it till you make it. And that's a problem. People who achieve at a high level, they don't have the ability to fake it till they make it. They only fake it till they get to a certain point, and the fake it will drop them off, and then they'll have a decline. In order for them to keep raising to the next level, they have to actually be their video, audio and their video have to match. And when they don't match, you're limiting your potential.
No, you're absolutely right. Now, you're going to get some negative letters about this because there are many realtors, unfortunately, a very, very high percentage of real estate agents who do not own a home. And here are some of the excuses they may have for not owning a home, Emerick, and maybe you can address that. Number one, they can't afford to buy a home where they live and or work.
Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better.
So just get better.
Just get better.
Just get better. And so what does that mean from a practical standpoint? Because, they make, $100,000 a year, but to qualify for any house around there, you need to make 200.
So that means you have to get better at real estate sales so that you can increase your income to $300,000. The beautiful part about real estate, Eric, is you determine how much you make. There is an infinite earning potential. When you are skill-based, then you've honed your craft, you understand what it's going to take for you to increase your income, and you have to be willing to take the actions that follow that. And so if you say I only make $100,000 and the minimum threshold to qualify is $200,000, whose issue is that? That means that you have to be better to sell more houses so that you can increase your income. So don't wish it was easier, wish you were better.
Another excuse could be, well, are you saying, Emerick, that I shouldn't sell real estate because I don't own a home? Then how do I actually put myself in a position if I'm not selling real estate because I should not? You're not saying that, are you?
No.
Okay.
Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Okay. No one ever said, I never said you can't sell real estate. I just said you will only achieve a certain level when your audio and your video don't match, because we are humans. We're creatures of habit, right? And we're creatures of consistency. Anytime you talk about business and achieving business success at a high level, it's about consistency. Not only the consistency in sales, it's the consistency in thought, it's the consistency in activities. And so when your audio and your video don't match, there's a conflict in your thought. So how can you ever be the best person that you can be when you're having inner conflict with your thought of where you should actually be?
Mm.
Does that, you
Mm.
see where I'm going with that?
I do, I do. And so you are a real estate agent and you're representing someone that is looking to purchase a home, maybe even their second home or third home or their first home, but you don't own a home. So there's a mirroring problem here because you're not reflecting the goals and aspirations they have in your own life, and there becomes a credibility gap in your ability to be able to serve them. And so the only thing you can do about that is to be on a team where you are subordinate to a team leader who does own the home, and
Let-
that
let-
you're positioning yourself as someone who is learning the business and assisting in the process.
Well, even not even that, Eric. Not even that. The reality is that on a logic makes you think, emotions make you act.
Okay.
When you act on that emotion, you're not acting on that emotion in an active sense. You're really acting on that emotion from a subconscious level. Everything that all that better than 90% of the actions that we take, they happen on a subconscious level. It's not even really the real conscious things that come into play that make you act. It's really the subconscious. And so when you're in that conflict between your audio and your video not matching, the real issue with you not achieving at the highest possible level is on a subconscious level. Because subconsciously, you're always, for lack of better terms, in some way sabotaging yourself and you don't even know it.
Wow. So it's really about just the internal conflict that occurs
Yes.
because you have
Yes.
not, done whatever you had to do, or,
Yeah.
to become a homeowner right now. And
Yes.
there are options. So yeah, so to be clear, Emerick, you're not saying don't sell real estate. Get into the game, start making money, start selling real estate. But because you don't own a home, you're going to be limited. There's going to be a ceiling. There are going to be clients that you just will not be able to work with because you don't mirror the success they want to see in the person they're dealing with,
Well,
and helping them to achieve
and
their
the other
goal. That's
part
my
of that,
take too.
to some degree, Eric, you will sabotage yourself.
Mm.
And so, and when people say that's not true, and I'm not looking to offend anybody, that's not true because you've never achieved at a high level, so you don't understand what it takes to achieve at a high level. You're only imagining and guessing what it takes to achieve at a higher level. Now, I'm not saying you can't be successful to some degree, because the only person that determines what success is you and your level of success, or what you determine your success is. Now, achievement at a high level, what I mean when I say that is there is a certain place where your own personal abilities, your own gifts, skills, and talents will drop you off, and that will be your ceiling of achievement because you're acting from an entrepreneurial perspective. When you begin to operate from a personal perspective and you begin to get uncomfortable being uncomfortable, that's when the magic happens, because you're stretching your mind beyond what you can believe, and you're changing your programming on a subconscious level, which allows you to help understand better that you really don't have a ceiling of achievement. The only ceiling of achievement is that in which you impose on yourself, and it's on a subconscious level, and you can't get to that place as long as you believe that you're doing your best. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. Wow, man. I said, number one, buy a house, and not buying a house creates all types of internal conflict, and it just messes with your mind subconsciously. And man, Emerick, you have really broken that down for us. The other thing that comes to mind, and all that you've said, is not just buying a house, but getting educated. So if you're going to, in your case, you had real world experience going through the process of buying a house. Plus,
Mhm.
you obtained your license, so you got the formal education, at least to pass the exam, and then there was additional classes and education and mentoring that you received after getting the license to further sell real estate. So I would say number two, just in unpacking what you've shared with us so far, getting the education in that particular niche that you're focusing on. If it's selling single family homes or duplexes or triplexes or fourplexes, if it's selling land, if it's selling luxury properties, you need to get the education so that you truly know what you're talking about it, because the clients will know immediately if you know what you're doing.
You know, Eric, and I'm gonna use this as an example, right? And again, this is not meant to offend anyone. People who attempt to sell, they have a great response selling upper middle class real estate. When you go to the luxury realm has a way of knocking out the pretenders. And the people who are in the luxury realm, they thrive. People who are breaking into luxury, even a blind squirrel can find a nut. You'll sell one house, you might sell two houses. The reality of you selling 5 or 6 houses when you don't understand the luxury brand and you don't actually live the luxury brand is extremely difficult. And I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying it's extremely difficult.
Oh, you're absolutely right. That's a level of business and a sophisticated buyer that you
Yes,
really need to be prepared to do business with.
yes,
Uh, so getting the education, and that's an area that requires still an education and experience, but also
absolutely.
requires connections. For someone just getting started, just getting an education about housing and homeownership and the types of homes and the maintenance and the landscaping and the design elements, and oh, there's so much to know about a house, man. I mean, it should be part of your business plan on scheduled classes and education you'll take over the year to further deepen your knowledge.
Yes. So at the end of the day, what it really boils down to, Eric, and I would encourage anyone, if your desire is to take your business and your life to a different level, please have your audio and your video match. And if your audio and your video does not match, you have to seek a education level be way far beyond where you are right now in that place of where you're looking to go, so that when you're having a dialogue, the people around you know and understand you know what you're talking about. And in order for you to truly take your business to the next level in that arena, it is probably going to require that you immerse yourself into that arena, i.e., home ownership, i.e., luxury living to some degree, i.e., a different level of, I'm going to call it personification of your business, whereby some aspect of your life, in some aspect of your life, your audio and your video match to what you're looking to put out or the people who you're looking to deal with.
Wow, great stuff, Emerick Piece. As I just kind of reflect on everything that's been said here today, we have a lot more to cover because once you buy a house, once you get the education you need to also, make sure you get a mentor, someone to mentor you. You need to make sure that you're on the right team, that you're working with the right company that's providing you the support you need so you can achieve your goals and be, the brand that you want people to see you are in the world. So this is part two, and getting clear on your services. And there's a lot to it, folks, as you can see. Emerick, I want to call what you just said as a final statement, but let me give you one more opportunity to have a
Okay.
final thought on this segment of part two, business planning for real estate agents 2023, getting clear on your services. Your final comment before we roll into part three.
Well, the final point, Eric, is this. As a professional, it's your duty and your obligation to be clear to your customer client, to your customers' clients, and the people who you serve, that you are the one to trust. Probably the largest financial transaction they will ever complete. Also, you have to be in a space where you attract the business and you're not always looking for the business. The best way that you can attract the business instead of always looking for the business is to be able to personify what your business looks like to the client who's seeking the services that you desire to give. And you have to personify that. And I believe that will help transcend your business to where you think you want to be, to where you really should be.
In short, you have to become the brand that you want people to see in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And a brand is more than just having a website and having social media platforms. It's more than just the color or your slogan. A brand is messaging. It is values. It's who you are. Is who you're, where you're from, what you do, why you do it. It is you, authentically you. You are the brand. Emerick, thank you for your time today.
Thank
I'm
you,
excited about part three, y'all.
Part
Part three is coming up. If you
Eric,
like this stuff,
we're going to turn up the heat on part three, Eric. We're going to turn up the heat.
I can't wait. Folks, you are watching The Power is Now Real Estate Roundtable, and this is Business Planning 2023 for real estate agents. I hope that you are enjoying this. Please let us know. Drop us an email. Emerick, if anyone wants to call you, can you share that information for those who may be watching or listening to the podcast? For those who are watching, is on the screen. But if he wants to call you, how can they reach you?
You can reach me by phone 240-882-0198. Again, 240-882-0198. Or you can always send me an email at emerickpeace@gmail.com. Again, emerickpeace@gmail.com. And the only reason I'm using my Gmail address, Eric, because that is the easiest way to get me. It's just a simple email. It's almost thankless. You can Google my name and find my email. I do have a different business email address. That's the simplest one. I want to make it as simple as possible for people to get in touch with me so I can get right back to them.
Emerick Peace, owner of Keller Williams Preferred Properties, 600 agents under his charge, going to 700 in 2023. Man, he is the man, and he's with us on the Real Estate Roundtable talking about business planning in 2023. Tune in for part three. Thank you for watching the Real Estate Roundtable. My name is Eric Frazier. Remember, we are at our best and we maximize our success when we act now. Power is now.
Want to keep up with the current developments happening in the world of real estate? The Real Estate Roundtable, hosted by Eric Frazier, is a show you do not want to miss. The show features a panel of VIP agents who are passionate about helping people. It is what they do best. They discuss today's hot topics, latest market updates and trends. The panel also conducts interviews with prominent figures in the industry. New episode every Friday live on Facebook and replay on the Thepowerisnow YouTube channel.